This is Speaking of Pets podcast, where we offer you up-to-date, science-based, accurate information.
Oh, Gizmo! Good kitty. You're such a good kitty.
And they're looking up and howling in unison.
If it affects pets, we'll talk about it. The Speaking of Pets podcast is sponsored by Blue Buffalo Veterinary Diets. Love them like family, feed them like family. Hey everyone, welcome to Speaking of Pets. I'm Dr. Alice Novotny-Jeroman, a board-certified veterinary dermatology specialist, and
I'm Janet Novotny-King. I'm the doctor's sister. I am not anything medical. I'm a pet lover, owner, and adopter. And Alice, who do we have on today?
We have, very interesting, we have Dr. Dave Latorra, who's the co-founder of DNA is Love, which I can't wait to ask, what is DNA is Love? And also Stephanie Ford, who was a former hospice worker, has come up with a way to preserve our memories of our loved ones, which to me means my pets.
Right.
But
could be humans.
Right. Could be human too. But I always
could
joke.
Be former lovers. Could be
what?
Bad boyfriends. I mean, it could be a lot.
No, not ex-boyfriends.
When
we
they're
don't
dead,
talk about on the
you
show.
know.
But Dave and Stephanie, I have to laugh because when I ask my friends who are specialists in certain fields of veterinary medicine, I'll say, now look, you don't have to come on and explain DNA. But guess what? You've got to come on and explain DNA.
Yeah, we do. Hello.
So we're anxious to hear. Please, why don't we start with you, Dave? DNA is Love. Explain that to me. I think that's a lovely sentiment.
Great, thank you. First of all, thank you for having us on the program. We enjoy the opportunity to talk with you. DNA is Love. Yes, this is a concept Stephanie and I put together. We are just building people's connections with their pets, and it works for pets and for people. So basically, we have a very easy, straightforward way to get DNA from those people or those pets, and then incorporate it into just different products, jewelry basically that we sourced, or picture frames, a few different items, and we just do the process for you, return this to you, and you have a personalized, engraved, once-of-a-kind gift that will last for a lifetime.
So it's always a long-standing memory of a loved one.
It
Pet,
is.
Human, what have you. Wow, where did you come up with the idea? I know your research has been in DNA in animals and in humans, correct?
Yeah, that's correct. Just something I've had in my head for a long, long time. At one point in my PhD research years ago, I had the idea of, family, my family DNA. I actually used my family DNA to do some testing. We were looking at systems to identify people or not, and animals. Yeah. So what better place to get some samples to try this out with than your family, right? So this came about, and then I had this idea for many years to just put DNA into jewelry to save it and preserve it for future generations.
So what does a customer send you?
It's a process. Yes, it's a three-way process. We start out, you order online. We have a very simple shopping page. We will send you a collection kit, which is nothing more than a swab for a cheek, and it's either you or your dog, your cat, your horse, whoever, your family member. You simply do the swabbing of the sample, break off the swab into a tube that we sell, and then we have a mailer, and that comes back to me at the lab. I do my magic on it, turn it into DNA, and then Stephanie and I work the magic, and we do the engraving of the product, we fill it, we put a certificate together to show the person, we confirm the DNA's there from every sample, and then voila, it comes back to you.
How interesting. Stephanie, did you come up with the idea for the product? Because I think it's such a touching, like a necklace with your loved one. I mean, they're always with you.
Absolutely. No, thank you. And again, thank you for having us. I think with my hospice and caregiving background, it's just interesting how Dave and I met, and he has had this dream forever. And I love the stories behind what happens. And so Dave's daughters, who are now college graduates and whatnot, when they were really little, colored a picture of all the DNA is Love jewelry items. So 15 years ago, 20 years ago, and it's just neat to see it come together. But I think when he brought this idea of, oh, I've had this idea forever and just kind of sitting on the back burner, I thought, oh, interesting, because at the time I was in a hospice situation
Oh, right.
that was really tough, you know,
Yeah.
and being with someone for hours a day and just seeing how do you hold on to the memories? How do you hold on to a part of this person, you know? And so I think when we came together with this idea, I thought, oh, this is beautiful. You know, it's a literal blueprint of this person or this pet, you know, and a living part, you know. And right now I'm wearing my cat.
Oh,
Yes, whom is 13 years old, and you know, and you're facing these situations where you think, oh, I'm not going to have you forever.
yeah.
And just to know, you know, like you said, to have a part of them with you. And I think it was such a neat process. Dave is so good at what he does and has a passion for DNA, and the way he does it is just a beautiful process. And I didn't realize until I saw it, and I thought, oh, this is really meaningful. This is really touching to have a pure, clean, you know, just part of someone with you always. So I've been lucky enough to do my dad and my pets, you know, and it really, there's something to the tangible of, you know, just like, oh, you're with me, you're here.
Well,
you
it's a
know?
wonderful way to honor that individual. You know? Yeah.
In
So
a
Stephanie,
unique way, yeah.
Do people comment on your necklace, which is lovely? What do you explain?
I do.
So you have to explain DNA. I told you, Janet.
I know.
Hey, I just
Came
remember
down to
most of
that.
it from science class, you know?
Right?
I know. I had to go back to my like, oh,
Remember?
the strands and yeah, and I love when Dave talks about it because it really is a beautiful connection. It's bringing the science and the heart
Yeah.
together is what we were kind of hoping to do. Of
Yeah,
just
sure.
with our pets, with our loved ones, and a unique way to do it. And so I think that's been the beautiful thing. And then you can also mix different DNA together.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. Like, if two pets didn't get along, and then
Right?
and then their
together
DNA is
forever.
You put one on this ear and one on this ear.
no,
Problem
and
solved.
never the two
Do.
shall meet. Right.
Yeah, no,
Right,
I
we
love
do have earrings too. Yeah, totally. Right, you could do that, or the mixture. Yeah, totally. So, you know, each sample is individual, and we take care. Each very sample is precious to me, to
Very.
you, to whoever sends it, and but we can combine in all different combinations, and you know, we have some cool things. Like I have picture frames with me and my daughters, right, together, and all three of our DNA is mixed in there. So it's something that'll stay with us forever, you know, and it's very cool. Yeah, I could talk more about whatever you want to ask about DNA. Let's talk about it. I'll
Yeah.
talk about
No,
the
well,
process.
I have a
Design-
crazy. Oh, go ahead, Janet.
No, I was going to ask, who designed the pieces?
Oh,
So we outsource these, yeah. So
Okay.
we have somebody that does these now, but we're looking, you know, to do different
Sure.
things with it. Of how
Yeah,
cool
yeah.
would it be to have a jewelry designer, and be
Sure.
able to, you know, add DNA to original pieces, because it
Oh,
truly
right.
is such a one of a kind, literally one of a kind gift that
Wow.
you've got of someone, and so
it's
that's-
so meaningful. You know.
it is. And you know what's a cool story that I love is that, you know, years ago Dave took the DNA samples of his family and preserved them long ago, long before we did this. And so almost 20 years later, he was able to take those samples and kind of rehydrate them and then create a pendant with his parents, who have been passed for a number of years now. And what a neat thing that was, you know, all these years later to
Right.
bring that back. And yeah.
That is so cool. Dave, do you ever get, for example, requests from police departments for? No, I'm serious, because you hear so much about DNA identification. I'm thinking
that's
you've got
actually
this
become-
DNA bank going on
But
there.
that's
probably.
become an issue with that case of the guy who killed the college students, because
I
they got
know.
the DNA from whatever
I know,
23
and they weren't going to allow that, but they are allowing it now.
They did, and that's how they got the guy. So
Wow.
anyway,
Yeah.
Yeah,
apprehended
no, I
the
mean, there,
whatever.
you know, there's always this forensic connection to it, right?
Yeah.
And you know, we've talked about that. We have that. Yeah, that's not our purpose here. It's just to
Right.
preserve the DNA.
Right.
So far, no, we haven't heard from police, but I actually do work in the identification field, to this day. I
Oh,
have for like a couple
fascinating.
of decades,
Yeah.
So I have that background. But yeah, it's a powerful identifier. It's unique, Stephanie, we love this statistic. Like, believe it or not, people are 99.9% the same at the DNA level, but the slight differences that make us unique are just a tiny fraction of what's there. So.
I think it would be, as a veterinarian, I'm retired now, but I think it would be a lovely gift for a pet parent who was a client of mine when they would lose a pet. Because I would send them some things, and I know Dr. Schoenberg, who's been on, she has a tree planted for each of her clients that have lost a pet. But this would be so meaningful. People, you lose a pet, and then 2 weeks later, you would get this as a gift from your veterinarian or whomever. And I got to tell you, you break down, because not only brings back all those memories, but to think that someone was doing that for me, for something I loved so much. I think it's such a lovely gift. I really do.
So let me ask you, could someone, if the pet is no longer with us, but you've had your pet cremated and you have the ashes, can you send the ashes to be put into something?
Yes, we do have the option for both DNA and cremation ashes. Because
Okay.
in my field, I just thought, there are so many people that didn't have the opportunity to do this. And and I just think there are so many beautiful ways to remember people. And so we just want to add to it, and say,
Sure.
here's a unique way to do this. So yes, we do have little cremation ash kits that you can fill and we'll engrave, and so all the jewelry is fillable, and I've been fortunate enough to help a few people do that, and it is so touching. It is such a special experience to sit with someone and say, let's talk about this person, let's talk about this pet.
Yes.
I have a brother who has 6 dogs whom he adores. Like, that is his life, and some have passed, some are still here, but it was really neat because I was able to make a picture frame with each of his dog's pictures in there with a vial that could hold their ashes. And it was so neat to just see him open and immediate tears, because you're right. I think our pets are our life,
Oh,
and
absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely.
I have my little 13-year-old cat sitting next to me, and I think, I can't imagine it. I know I will cry. So
Yeah,
I'm like,
and let me give you some advice. Don't even waste a second trying to imagine that, because God forbid, when it does happen, it's horrible and you can't ever prepare yourself. So don't just spend
And
that
just
time
enjoy
petting,
that
kissing,
cat.
loving them, instead
Enjoy
of what am I
that
going
cat.
to do? And yeah.
Hey, did you know that Blue Buffalo makes prescription diets that are formulated by animal nutritionists and veterinarians? And they're used for dietary needs such as kidney support, gastrointestinal support, weight management, and our favorite, allergy and skin problems.
They make a food allergic diet that's an alligator based called NP, or a hydrolyzed salmon based for dogs and cats called HF.
So please ask your veterinarian about Blue Buffalo prescription diets.
Thank you.
Except I have 2 cats that there's no way they're going to let me swab them. Can you imagine?
I know.
Can you do it with hair, Dave? If she would pluck hair?
We could fill it with hair, but we are kind of focused on the DNA side of things, and
So
the
even if
swabbing the swabbing
Even if
goes
she got
okay.
the root, could you get it? Could you extract it from the root if she?
A little bit. We're kind of set up to do it from cheek swabs of
Okay.
pets. That's our best, and it's our most easiest, straightforward way. Steph will tell you it was pretty easy with Yeti. The Yeti they kind of chew on it and they think you're giving them a treat or something. So we've done multiple cats, very easy. Dogs too, are very straightforward. And so far horses is what we've done. All it is for me is, the extraction process is the same. We confirm all the DNA that we get out of for every single sample. Like, we don't just say, okay, the process works. I check the DNA from every sample that's done. And the only difference in those is actually we do it by process called PCR, polymerase
Yes.
chain reaction. You've heard about that in
Yeah.
COVID testing or something. The only thing that would be maybe different if you go to some exotic species is like different primers might have to change, but we could do it from whatever you got, iguana or bird or, too, if it's not a conventional pet. So we're not limited to, and then people, same thing. So we have primers that do all mammalian, mammal DNA, and we confirm every sample. We tell you how much is there. We also include like a beautiful certificate with a photo and just a cute little really thing that comes with about your pet or your family member. And it's really a nice it's a beautiful package. Like Steph said, we know it works really well when the tears come, when people get the gift, and that happens a lot. So
What is
I'm
what is your
interested
most
in.
popular, what is your most popular product? I'm just curious. Is it the
Good
necklace?
question.
Is it the frame? Is it the?
Yeah, the frame is really popular. And then
Yeah, I
we have
bet.
an infinity pendant that seems to be
Oh,
quite
that
popular.
sounds neat. Yeah.
Yeah, as well.
Former
And I like
retailer, so that's
design.
why I'm.
Jan's
Okay,
right.
There's
good.
always a
Yeah, there you
bestseller.
go. Yes.
right, yeah, and hearts and butterfly hearts. So we have quite a variety. If you look on our website, it's dnaslove.com. You'll see quite a shopping page. And like Steph said, we can go either way, with DNA, or if you have a loved one that's passed, ashes. A lot of people have them in a box or something, right? A shoe box or whatever. Not a lot will go in there, of ashes.
Yeah.
We have small products, they're jewelry, right? But
Right.
it's a part of, of your loved one.
I have a science question. When you had your family's DNA from 20 years ago,
Yeah.
it didn't degrade, right? I mean,
It didn't degrade, yeah. No, this is like outside of the norm that we're doing in the kit. But yeah, we preserved it onto this special paper, basically like it's kind of like a cardboard that's
wow.
for preservative. And yeah, just cutting a piece of that up, hydrating it with, molecular grade water, and confirming DNA's there. And yeah, we have. My mom was a nurse at the time, and actually the process was more difficult then. Like, we didn't have the cheek swabbing so easy. So one Thanksgiving, we all got together, and she took blood samples from me and my family members.
Happy
They were
What a
great. They
party.
contributed. It was good. So
And I'll have a side of that.
Totally.
Stephanie and I are serial entrepreneurs at this point, right? We're working, and Stephanie's doing something really cool too. She's doing really the story side of this. So she's putting together videos. It's
I
going
love
to be
that.
coming out really soon, Stories with Steph, and that brings the tears out. That's the memories that are together. So
Now,
really
can pet owners, when this gets established,
Yeah.
Stephanie, can they send you memories and then you formulate something from that? Is that what you're doing?
That's what I'm working on, definitely. So I've just had so many incredible people come across my path over the last number of years, truly. And I've moved around the world. I lived in China for 5 years and, just started meeting really incredible people. And then I think the last 10 years in caregiving and hospice, I just thought, how do you preserve the memories? How do you hold
Yes.
on? How do you let the world know how incredible these people, these pets, I've met incredible pets too in these situations. And so I have a little bit of graphic design background over the years. I've just kind of done it on my own and started getting into video work and thought, how could you just highlight the really beautiful parts of someone's life? And I've done one for my cat, and I've done one.
Oh, I love that.
Yes, absolutely. Because I just think, how do you compile these 4,000 photos I have of my cat into,
Right.
And I think, okay, how can I condense it down so it's just something I kind of can look at every once in a while. So I have a passion for family history, for genealogy. My mother, she's been gone about 10 years now, and she was a master genealogist. So I thought, how can you carry these stories forward? And she gifted us just a legacy, just beautiful accounts of our family for hundreds of years. And now I thought, oh, how could I do that in a way that kind of modernizes and share the stories of our pets, of the people,
Yes.
And so I'm working on that. And yeah, so I think it's all connected. I think that's what I've realized is we are so connected. And when Dave talks about DNA at the science level, I think this is fascinating. that
It
we
is.
truly are.
DNA is where it's at. I mean,
It
seriously.
is. It
Yeah.
is. And I know
Right.
people are kind of hesitant and whatnot, but really what we want to create is just a true connection. And we don't do anything with it. You know, this is yours, yours only, and but a meaningful way to hold on to it. What I love too is that it lasts for generations.
Right.
DNA is so stable. So even in this piece of jewelry, even if the liquid evaporates out, it
Right.
adheres to the jewelry itself. And so, for hundreds of years, right, Dave? If
Yeah,
not more.
Past when any of us will be sitting here to talk about it, that's definitely for sure.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, DNA from mummies and just going back
Wow.
centuries, you know, honestly. So, and these are well preserved samples. We use a very elegant, very simple but elegant process. I do in the lab. We break the cells open. We're cheek cells that we get, and once that lysis is there, then I use magnetic particles to connect to the DNA, and that attracts. So then I use a magnetic rack to pull the sample against the rack, and then I can just wash and get rid of all the other remnants of the cells, the lipids, the proteins, all that stuff. Several washes, and then we just elute it off into liquid again, and then we have really purified DNA, as Steph was saying. But it's also very simple too, so it's kind of the best of both worlds.
Have you seen the evolution of preparing DNA get simpler? I mean, it seems like it's faster than it used to be.
I have in my career, yeah, totally. Back
I
in the
would
day,
imagine.
it was, you
Yeah.
know, when I was doing my graduate research and everything, you know, it was a process to do that, right? But nowadays, yeah, just and what we do is kit based, like it's not like homebrew chemicals in the
Right.
lab. I use kits that are well vetted and quality control tested and everything, and it's a
Sure.
pretty straightforward process. Like you have to have an eye for it, and it's a little tricky.
Yeah.
Like it's not for everybody, but certainly it's great. And yeah, it brings it to people, availability to people. Like I think one thing we talk about is it's an opportunity for people to do this. We're kind of a service provider, giving people an opportunity to collect this and hang on to it for their loved ones, their pets.
Have you had any odd requests?
Not naming any names.
I
naming
know,
any
right?
names.
Exactly. Okay, no names. Yeah, what have we
You can
done?
name species, though. You can name species.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
We
Like, this is
haven't
from my
had-
ladybug.
I know, right?
I got the
I-
swab in there.
Yes, in my neighborhood, there's a neighborhood donkey named Samson.
Oh, I
Who,
love it.
yeah, he carts around a little library for our
Oh,
children,
my
and
God.
he's darling. He's
You
darling.
have to send a picture that we can put
I
on the,
will.
yeah,
Just
if,
email it to us. We'll put
if
it
he
up on the
doesn't
screen.
mind having his picture.
No, and I did ask permission because I
Okay,
said,
good.
can you use Samson? Because
He signed an NDA.
I know, right? He is beautiful. He's just the sweetest and was rescued. A really tough story, but
Love
how
it.
they rescued this dog and just kind of brought him back to life. And now he's just the love of this new. And
Are
it's
you
such
like
a
out
sweet-
in the country?
You know, you would think. I'm in a little suburb, but down the road there's some kind of farming
Oh, okay.
area. So we'll go down in the summer and
Yeehaw!
yeah, right. So
Aw.
so we've got that, and then we did the horse sample was interesting because it took a couple of times, but just to make sure we got it right. But it was
Yeah.
the sample was quite dirty. I remembered that because normally it's just
Yeah.
clean, and so
Yeah.
Dave
A lot
was
of hay
able-
goes in there. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. But
Yeah.
but really neat because once we put it through the PCR machine, it just the numbers kind of came up, and I thought we got it. And that's the
That's so
beautiful
cool.
thing is that we can confirm for sure that we got a good sample.
Right? Yeah, I don't know, Janet. What are you thinking? What do you got there at home?
No, I'm
Yeah,
nothing.
what
See
did
the
we
cat?
do?
See the cat eating right here? I can hear her crunching. There's a cat
I
right
can't
Oh,
hear it.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. She won't come near me. Or it's him. I don't know which one it is. No, it's Isabel. She'll come near me. But Atticus
The boy cat will come
hates
near
my
her.
guts.
Dave, do you have pets?
Have had pets. Yeah, I've been kind of moving around a little bit. I've only been
Okay.
up in Oregon a couple of years, so right now I'm just kind of resetting. But
Yeah.
yeah, I've had over the years totally.
Stephanie
well,
has a pet but next to her, I can tell.
We want to
Yeah.
see it.
Oh, I know.
Who is this? Oh my gosh, that's a lot of love.
That's a beauty.
Wow.
He
And
is.
what is our name?
This is Yeti.
Yeah.
Oh, Yeti. Yes, Dave, you mentioned Yeti. I'm like, who's
Yeah.
Yeti?
What a
Yeah,
beauty.
okay.
Oh my
yeah,
God.
right.
Yeah, he's 13 and just my life. You realize your
Yeah.
pets are just there all the time. My kids have grown, they've gone on to do their things and they always accuse me of, "Oh, he's the favorite." And I'm like,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. He is.
Doesn't talk back,
That's right.
doesn't
Yeah,
complain about
totally.
the food. Yeah.
"No, but he is my constant companion."
13 is like the new 7.
Thank you. I'm
No,
so
it's
glad
true.
to hear that because
It
I'm
is.
thinking,
My Capri, sadly, I lost her this past November. She was 22.
oh,
So 13 is just a teen in
thank
cat
you.
years. It's not an
Thank
old,
you.
it's not an
And I
old.
had Dexy was 19 and a half.
Yeah,
Oh, I
yeah.
am so
Was that your diabetic cat, Janet?
No, that was Smudgy was like
Oh, okay,
12
sorry.
when she died, but she was
Okay.
diabetic. And then the sister lived a long time.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was listening to your podcast on aging pets. That was so helpful.
Oh,
I
gosh.
really appreciate
Tell me you
that.
hit the like button, Stephanie. Be a friend.
I will be a friend. I will do it because I learned a lot about dementia too in pets.
Oh,
Yes.
I didn't
know.
know that.
Yeah, there's so many similarities. It's really scary, you know? And the sad part about elderly pets is they can have like a tooth problem and be just like, and people think, oh, they're just getting old, when really it's an infection that's going to the brain because, you know.
Right.
So there's so many things that can be mistaken for just old age, you know,
Yeah.
that it can be helped. Yeah.
Okay, that was
But-
really helpful to hear. So yeah.
Oh my God.
Well done.
Let me pick her up.
Oh,
This is
Wow.
Isabel.
oh,
Which, let me tell you, Stephanie, this cat has a paunch.
No, that's the brother. Shh. She has a lovely figure.
Oh,
It's the brother who has a big
the
poochie
the
pouch.
boy has a big
Oh.
paunch.
It's like when he runs, don't tell anybody, it goes like this.
Yeah.
It's very unattractive, but we don't talk about it. We don't shame.
no, we don't. We don't. We love
We don't
them
judge.
who they are.
She doesn't have one. It's the brother.
We've got to get Dave a pet. Here's
We
what
do.
I feel.
We do.
Speaking
I
of
do too.
DNA, I think the last pet you had sends you the next pet. That's what I think.
Okay.
There you go.
Oh, that's a beautiful
go.
one. I
I
love
do.
that. I
Yeah.
love that. I believe
And sometimes it's good and sometimes it isn't.
that.
Right?
You have a lesson to learn, though, right?
Blue Buffalo Natural Veterinary Diets offer a natural alternative in nutritional therapy. With their in-house research and development team with over 300 years experience in well pet and veterinary therapeutic diets, more than 600 scientific publications, and more than 50 U.S. patents. Blue Buffalo Natural Veterinary Diets.
So, Dave and Stephanie, we got to ask you a couple of questions.
Oh, yes.
These
These
are
are
our
our
guest
favorite
questions.
questions.
Standard
Besides,
operating procedure.
besides explaining DNA. That's our
Okay.
favorite question. Yeah, go ahead.
Wait, what is it? Something nucleic acid. DNA it stands for.
Deoxy, yeah. It's the chemical, it's the ribose, yeah, deoxygenated, yep,
I
totally.
remember a little.
Okay.
What makes you passionate about your work? Which I think you've kind of answered.
I think I know the answer, but
I do too.
Oh my God, yeah, I like it's yeah, for me it's the new frontier. Like every every experiment's different and it's a process and I like learning, right?
I love learning.
Yeah.
When you
Stephanie
stop
loves
learning, you might
learning.
as well,
Right, yeah. Stephanie should have been a scientist. She has a scientist brain. And that's it. Like, and just seeing what comes of it. Like, it's the
Yeah.
unknown and challenging yourself and
Yeah.
all those things. So that's it for
Cool.
me.
Stephanie, what about you?
And for me, it's the connection. I
Oh, yeah.
really just.
I could tell.
Yeah, right. I think for a lot of years I just thought, oh, this is bigger than,
Yeah.
and you just realize every home you walk into, every person you meet, every person you cross paths with, every pet you cross paths, you just think, oh my gosh, we are so connected at the cellular level. Like I
Yeah.
just truly believe in that. And what I love about it's such a curious process to me. And so I love learning all I can, of what happens after we pass? What happens,
Yeah.
all these kind of things that just stem from how did this begin and where are we going? And so I have a passion for people's stories. I think we have so much to learn from each other. And, I think sometimes in a world where we kind of shut down, I think, oh, this is the time to walk in and say, what do you know?
Yeah.
And And I think in my caregiving days, I really found that to be true, of just sitting with people at that point in their life and just saying, okay, what do you know? Teach me so I can learn. And
Well, and you know, when you say that, that's so true, because when you lose a loved one, you do anything to have something of that person or pet around you. You
Yeah.
know, like you go to the last place they were, or you smell their blanket, or, and so I think what you guys do is you provide that, and you always have that with you. I just think it's lovely.
yeah, I think
Thanks.
connection is everything. And I think what
And I like the science too.
And the science, I love it. The heart and the science, truly.
Yes,
I
yes.
love that we can bring both, like the hardcore, here are the numbers, here is how it's done, to, yeah, we are connected. So
That's great.
Okay.
Yeah, I could tell you two really get it, and that's good. I think that's just been our biggest challenges, and that's why this podcast is great for us, getting the word out there.
Yeah.
We're a little novel, we're new. People don't even know to search for it, I think, necessarily, So you give us a good opportunity to talk about our forum and what we're about, and this is great. We appreciate
Well,
this
the
a lot.
thing about veterinary medicine, as opposed to human medicine, there's such an emotional aspect to it, which is why veterinarians have the highest suicide rate of any medical professional. It's just very different than human medicine. It's a brotherhood. If my dog had an eye problem right now, I'm in Florida, I could call a veterinary ophthalmologist who doesn't even know me, but because I would do the same for her or him, they'd get my dog in. And that's happened, believe me, several times. But it's so emotional, and that's why Janet and I do the podcast, because people, they need to know what's out there for their pets, be it a service like yours, which is such a loving service, or a specialist like we just interviewed, a radiation oncologist. I mean,
Right.
pet parents, there's such a bond there, and I just don't want people to get the wrong information from Dr. Google. And there's a lot of that going on. And then when you guys come up with what you have to offer, it's a lovely sentiment. And they're not going to find that on Dr. Google. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I mean, I know you wish they would, but DNA is love. I don't know that, I know some of my clients, and I don't know that they'd click on that. I'm not saying criticizing, I'm just saying.
no, no.
Yeah, it's nice to connect what you do with pet parents. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I think
And human parents. Oh, I keep
think
forgetting
the
about that.
common things, like that when people think of their pets gone,
Yeah.
is like, Alice, you have rocks. For each
What?
of them. You have those rocks. at
Oh,
your-
yeah, people
You
send
know,
me
things-
those.
The
They send me
traditional
those.
things. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Right.
And this is kind of edgy and cool and new. So, I think it's just, people will figure it out.
I
but
like it.
I think you're
Yeah.
used to traditional methods,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But wait, we have to ask one more question. Dave, what is your human or pet peeve?
Right, we have to ask them that.
Oh,
And you're next, Stephanie, so start thinking.
Yeah.
I know. Okay.
It can be a fun thing. It can be like, what really pisses me off when people don't use their blinkers. I mean,
Yeah, gosh, I don't know. Just
It
know.
really pisses me off that my cat that I take care of hates my guts.
Amen.
Yeah, right.
Literally, he does this when I come around.
Yeah, I don't know. For me, it's just there's not enough hours in a day to do the
Yeah,
things I want to
right.
do,
Amen.
And then I'm kind of a night owl, honestly. My biology has me going. So it's all these day people, these morning people. What's up with them, right?
Oh, I'm a
So-
morning person. I'm hated by
morning
everyone
person.
in this house. Yes.
Yeah.
But no, otherwise it's all good. And yeah, this is new and novel, and we like where this is going. So we appreciate the chance to talk with you.
Oh,
Yeah,
our
absolutely.
pleasure.
Okay, Stephanie's thinking. I can see her thinking. Her brain's going.
Okay. Well, Yeti definitely gets zoomies in the middle of the night, even though he's
I love it.
Really?
yeah. So somehow he's flying over my bed at 2 in the morning, and I just think, I love you, but
Calm the hell down.
I know. So there's that. I hate when people don't let you merge, and that in Oregon is an issue of just like,
Oh, let you merge? Oh, that's Massachusetts, the Massachusetts.
right?
Yeah.
Right. But I think my biggest one, and I tell my kids all the time, is just be kind.
I love it.
Genuinely, like unkind. Like
I
I
know.
just don't appreciate when people don't give other people the time of day to, you know, and so I just say, be kind, be kind. So that's kind of my big thing.
We're all on this planet together. That's how I say.
And we're all just on a journey and trying to figure it out.
Right.
So
I mean, I guess I got another one too. Is I'd like to see people put their phones down more, honestly, and be more engaged with other people.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I think people are too distracted. It's the greatest. You're holding in your hand the greatest tool ever.
Yeah.
But it's also a curse. Like, it's a blessing and a curse. So
Especially when they're driving.
I love when my
totally.
Have you ever noticed cars coming at you now or go like this?
Oh, I hate it. I want to make a citizen's
It
arrest.
scares the heck out of me.
right.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you for joining us
Oh,
today.
yes.
and
Thank you for what
thank
you
for the
do.
meaningful work you do, and I know it makes a difference to a lot of pet owners and lovers and humans. It's really
Absolutely.
lovely.
Any loved one.
yes.
Okay, as a former retailer, I'm going to say, are you on Etsy?
We're also on Etsy, yeah. And
Okay.
otherwise, you can shop at dnaslove.com, our website. And then check out Stories with Steph. That's coming soon. That's going to be a
good.
big one. So.
Let us know about that, Steph.
I will. I'll be in touch, and I will like your things. I will get on the bandwagon of all that.
Thank
I
you.
promise. We'll be friends.
So, thank you for joining us. We appreciate you.
Oh,
This
yes.
is Janet Novotny King, sister to the doctor from Cleveland, Ohio, saying thanks for joining us. And,
Give your pets a kiss.
but you didn't say who you were.
Oh, and I'm Dr. Alice Novotny Jeroman from Cleveland, Ohio as well.
Thanks for joining us.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in today. We hope you learned some valuable information about making decisions about your pet's health.
And don't forget to follow us on social media and subscribe on podcasts because we love to have those likes. Thanks so much for listening.
That's actually really good. You could both go bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
How about woof woof?
This episode of Speaking of Pets podcast was sponsored by Blue Buffalo Veterinary Diets. Love them like family, feed them like family.
Follow us on social at Speaking of Pets and listen wherever you get your podcasts.
The Speaking of Pets podcast is an SLA video production.